Trying to resolve the audio issues. See this thing? It's called a lavalier, a noise canceling lavalier, and it's got a receiver on here, and then you got to put the cord into here, and it had been working for a while, so this is a little test. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Trying to straighten out the audio issues. Hey there, tomato. It's 46 degrees outside, 60 indoors, and I got the heat on. Can you hear me? All right, the test worked. Let's see if it keeps on working. Hate to do these and then have to redo them because there was no audio. Sun is shining. That wind damage right there is from a couple of days ago. I didn't pick it up yet. And the geraniums are coming in today, and this furniture is going to be put away because there's a shift in the weather pattern and it is decidedly colder. We're going to cover a lot of things here today. We'll sum up that snow in Colorado. We'll talk about what that system's going to do and the potential for a coastal storm later in the week. But first I want to talk about, and snow guns going on at our ski areas, but first I want to talk about what happened right here in Dennis last night. As the sun went down, the air was actually calm, the moon was bright. That was really interesting because at the same time, the wind on Mount Washington was gusting to 110 miles per hour as the sun went down, and there was 3 inches of snow on Mount Washington. So what happened was we briefly decoupled, and then the wind really ramped up as the front came through at the middle of the night. And there's an anemometer. It's called Marivelis High Performance Extreme Performance Anemometry at the north side of Dennis. And at 3:09 a.m., Paul's anemometer measured a wind of 51.5 miles per hour. So that verified what we talked about 24 hours ago with the HRRR saying 36 knots with winds gusting to 50. That worked out. That's a low performance anemometer on top of Tim's roof, and it's 50 years old, but it still works. And our house was shaken between midnight and 7 a.m. And what is wind? Wind is air moving from high to low pressure. So the low pressure system is way up over Newfoundland, and the high pressure system is out over Lake Huron. It's a 991 low, and it's a 1030 millibar high pressure system. And the wind was aligned at all levels of the atmosphere. Now remember, we've had that extreme warmth over the last several days, and then it was replaced by early season freezing weather. So it's quite a contrast in the seasons. And the bigger the contrast, the bigger the gradient, the more wind you get. And that's why we had so much wind last night. Why don't I attempt to get out of the wind? We'll go check the outdoor thermometer right here. Are we going to have a hard freeze in Dennis this week? Probably not a hard freeze. Chuck and I are trying to decide, what do you determine is a hard freeze? And we're thinking maybe 20s all night long to really freeze. You know, maybe this hose will freeze faster, but as far as the pipes on the outdoor shower go, he says you're probably going to have temperature in the 20s just about all night long to cause the problem with these things. But I am going to drain that, and we are going to winterize the house before I leave today. Look at all the leaves, blowing and drifting leaves. Isn't it interesting how, like snow, they do pile up in little piles, while other parts it's scoured. That's what happens in these really strong winds. Most of the oak leaves are down now, so it's a good day to rake toward the south, because the wind is from the north. There's that oak tree. So just some maples left there. And the red oaks, sometimes those red oak leaves, they hang on for a lot of the season. Have you ever noticed that? Anyhow, I've got to clean out those gutters. A lot of work to do. I'm probably not going to do half of what I think I'm going to do. Let's do the weather forecast. The system that caused all that snow in Colorado. And I go to CocoRoz and I try and find out who got the most snow, and not including the last 24 hours because it was too early in the day. 47 inches of snow, Fort Garland, Colorado. And that's up the hill from Trinidad. And so some of those mountaintops probably did come in with 6 feet of snow. And it is snowing in New England. No, not from the sky, but from the snow guns. Finally, the snow guns came on at Superstar Killington last night. And boy, do they have the technology and the power. It's a power blizzard at Killington this morning. It looks like there's a snow gun every 10 or 20 feet. So Superstar all of a sudden is covered with snow in a 12-hour window last night. They turned the guns on at sunset. And by sunset today, they'll probably have made a couple of feet almost wall-to-wall on Superstar. And this window is narrow. The window for snowmaking is going to close. And also Carl Weller sharing this shot. I looked at the Mount Mansfield webcam and I couldn't see any snow guns, but from his house you could see that there are snow guns going up there on Lord, on the top of Mount Mansfield, and also Spruce Peak making some snow this morning. And guns are on at Jay again and Sugar Bush. So we're turning a corner here. It's a new weather pattern and it's going to be decidedly more wintry. We have a series of fronts coming at us, and it no longer shows any record warmth. Every time we've had a window of cold in the last 4 or 5 weeks, we've had record warmth coming in. Well, not this time. Shall I just cut to the chase with the Killington 14-day, because everyone's very excited to have the World Cup coming back to Vermont again this winter in November. It's just actually before the winter solstice, isn't it? Killington 5-day says there is a spike, 15-day says there's a spike in the warmth here coming in with the temperature going back into the 40s, maybe low 50s for a brief time as we get into late tomorrow and to about Tuesday morning or so. There's going to be some melting going on, but Tuesday there's a front looking more and more impressive with cold air rushing back in here with almost just as much wind as we're getting last night and today with a Tuesday into Wednesday front. And then we're in a cool dip, and there may be some natural snow coming in there too. I know it shows raindrops, but this is for Killington down below the higher elevations. And so it's going to be really close with some rain or snow here, starting probably a little upslope, almost definitely some upslope on Tuesday night into Wednesday. So let's try and get out of this wind. Which way should I go? The wind is just swirling here. Can I go down in the hill and stand in the sun and be warmer? And nobody's going to walk their dog by, and I'm not going to be in anyone's way. All right, here it is. Let's just go to the satellite imagery. Let's use a really wide shot of the satellite imagery. The Hurricane Rafael is now a tropical storm, and it's going to only meander and drift south in the Gulf of Mexico. What was a blizzard is now a cold front coming across the Mississippi River Valley. And here in the northeast, we have mostly clear skies outside of some upslope snow and some ocean effect clouds out over the Atlantic there south of Cape Cod. That's cold air over relatively warm water. And also I want to show a shot of the system, tropical wave, that is looking like it's north of Puerto Rico, and that's drifting toward the west. Now that could be a player in our forecast. I'm going to have to dissect that closer tomorrow. As a lot of things are aimed at New England, and it looks like we're going to start to develop some North Atlantic blocking, redeveloped for the first time in probably about 5 weeks since that cold shot we had in September. And that snow we had in October wasn't even involved with blocking. That was just a really nice cold shot. All right, so let's go to the Euro now and just put it into motion, day by day, play by play. And we've got this 1030 high pressure system coming right over us tonight. And with a clear sky and radiational cooling, a lot of spots are going to get down to the teens and 20s north and 20s and 30s south. And then that high is going to go south of us. Now, when a high goes south of you, you start to warm it up. But just as quickly as that happens, there's a leftover system from Colorado coming through here with still a good amount of energy and some rain showers and sort of not that much warmer, but warm enough that it's rain instead of snow in New England on Monday. And that moves out maybe a quarter inch of rain, a few spots. And then here comes this front Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night. Upslope snow redeveloping in northern Vermont. That cold front's going to be powerhouse now. It looks almost as powerful as the one last night. So that's a change in the forecast coming in here with cold air advection on Tuesday into Wednesday. And then this high now on Wednesday is going to go to our north. So that's a different trajectory. When highs go to your north, it does not warm up anywhere near as quickly. And now we're going to stop it on Thursday. Now that high, you can't really see it. There's no blue H there, but trust me, there's still a high north of New England. So there's going to be cold air damming here. And Thursday, we've shown this so many times, a couple of times it had a blizzard there over Lake Superior. Now it's got a fairly weak low near Lake Huron with just marginal cold around here, but there is enough cold that there could be some snow if this thing comes our way. Nowhere near as an intense as looking front as we had over the last couple of days, but there is a front to the south of that low. So this is really interesting. This is Thursday morning. Now we're going to put it back into motion, and there's going to be some curious things here. Yesterday it had a nor'easter going south away from New England. Now it's got a weak low south of New England, and look at this. What is that coming in from the upper right? Stop the presses. Stop the map here. On Friday morning, is that a 988 low on the coast of Maine that came in from the east with heavy snow in Maine, backing down towards Boston with a rain snow line moving toward the west out of Nova Scotia, an upside down, backward moving, retrograding system being generated by the Euro model here for late in the week. Oh my goodness, it's so different. I want to show you this from a different perspective. I'm going to show the Northwest Atlantic, still using the Euro, but a different region so we can watch what happens. So I'm going to show it here. Now I'm going to start it with Monday. There's that system coming through New England, and notice the front looks like it's going to kind of try and strengthen between Nantucket and Bermuda and slow down, and also some more energy coming out from the south of that front we just talked about from Thursday, and now we have a storm forming south of Newfoundland and backing in, retrograding, and almost a Fujiwara with the Thursday low going south, and that storm that was in Colorado a few days ago re-intensifying and retrograding into New England as a backdoor nor'easter on Friday with snow changing to rain from north to south. That is almost an impossible truth. It's science fiction, or it's comedy, or it's magic. It is so unlikely that that's how it's going to play out. But the point here is that something is going to play out here Thursday into Friday. I know Weir is telling everybody, and so many people, Josh looking at the GFS with 20 to 30 inches of snow in Vermont on Thursday into Friday. No way. I'm not going to show the GFS even, but it just shows that something is going to happen around here, and we are in a new pattern, and it's a much colder pattern. And now if we put this back into motion with the lower 48 and take it out through about day 10, it does look like there's some blocking. A lot of the country's warming up, and then we have another system way out there by Monday the 18th. It's in the middle of the nation, but we may have some cold air damming around here, and there's a slight chance that we might be able to jog that system off to the south of New England. So definitely a new pattern, and I don't think I should show any snow totals. I think we can just count on ski resorts are going to start opening in New England in the next 7 days, probably Killington leading the way. And places like Mount Mansfield and Jay Peak, they already have their schedules set. Usually the day after Thanksgiving for Jay, and the day, at Mount Mansfield, Stowe would probably be the Friday before Thanksgiving. That's the schedule for us to go skiing. Meantime, look at these flowers. Now these are, I know they look like, all right, that's it for the weather. I've done plenty of weather today, don't you think, at 11 minutes? And can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. And this is a chrysanthemum, believe it or not, even though I know it looks like a Montauk daisy, and my parents planted all that, although I put in those roses. Tup Schaefer told me, be careful with those roses. And then there's some old wisteria here. I think my grandmother put in the wisteria here. This is talking about 55, 60 years ago. I was listening to Casey Kasem this morning from November 1979, and Fleetwood Mac and the USC marching band performing Tusk. That was 45 years ago. Wow. Well, anyhow, I'm going to see the USC marching band, I think, next week. So I'm going to be on the road, and always taking the camera and the out the door with me. We'll have T-Rex back tomorrow, and Steve the cat, and I appreciate all your comments. And the video yesterday with the cormorants, I didn't even notice it, but there were two cormorants that collided as they were chasing all those needlefish around Wellfleet Harbor. That was really fun. But anyhow, I came back here, and I didn't do too much out the door yesterday. I was just commenting at sunset on how pretty it was down at Fallon's Pond. So a very limited and more. Appreciate all your comments, your viewership, and I hope you can hear me now. Talk to you tomorrow. Hey, toy T-Rex, looking good in this late day light here at the Bass River Beauty Place. Not even 4 o'clock yet, and after gusting past 30 miles an hour for a few hours midday, the wind has calmed down, but there's quite a squall line coming through northern Vermont, and the wind is going to pick back up. I don't think I saw a single cloud in the sky today. And I haven't really gone out and done much. I still intend to, but it's going to be dark, doing some winterization, maybe roll up some of the hoses, pull down some storm windows, and maybe we'll get a shot of the moon, which should be up there somewhere. Oh yeah, and I got to repair that webcam. So it was a really fun day from Wellfleet to Dennis. And I'm going to go to that country sport and snow expo in Hanover, I think, this weekend. Where's the moon? There it is, and we can't see it quite yet, but next to Saturn and then down lower is going to be Venus, the waxing beaver moon, halfway to full. Next Friday is the full beaver moon. And will we still have foliage on our shrubbery?
maybe a little. But there's a lot of wind and several changes between now and then. Everything changes. The weather changes, the forecast changes, and it's getting an earlier and earlier sunset. Appreciate all your comments. Watching the fish today, and Matthew with your expertise on what ships are going by the house. And Gail noticed that the two cormorants smashed into one another in the feeding frenzy, but they both seem to be fine. No feeding frenzy down here right now, just a bunch of Bass River beauty. And that iPhone aberration there on the lower right, the little ghostly, actually, reflection of the sun inside one of the iPhone lenses can make it climb the tree.